So I think a lot of it was largely covered. Probably a couple that weren't. Martin, Paul, Colin, and Craig were in our group. And yes, it could have gone for much more than 10 minutes, and we were still talking hard when we were cut off. Um, but I think we talked a little bit about with first of all, the cash flow point that's just been made was obviously fundamental and the most important. And our question was really around whether those the model and the framework of 8 characteristics, starting with cash flow at the bottom, was actually a hierarchy with the blue arrow on the side, on the left hand side, was it a hierarchy? So you're looking for integrated at the top, kind of the profit management, the orange one in the middle that Claudia spoke to, and then the cash flow at the bottom, because survival and cash flow is the most important. And there was a couple of examples that was quoted from that. And I think where we ended up just at the end, having gone through that, was probably that it's a matter of selecting elements that will fit in with different organizations at different times. So, during COVID, everybody got smashed down to looking at how they got by with cash flow, but then flexibility around employees sort of working half time, different sorts of employee empowerment, all those sorts of things, actually gave different sorts of responses. So, and brought about a huge amount of transformation and cultural change in companies. So, and then the other element that we were supposed to look at was just what tools are actually able to be used to measure such things as norms and values, and how do you put those assessments in place from your initial assessment till afterwards. And how well does 360 employment assessments, for example, fill that criteria. And so we had some interesting insights from Paul, from Colin, I think, who had CEO going rogue and destroying a company, and a couple, Paul and Craig, who are both sort of big exponents. So it was quite deep discussions around how transformation actually works in real life.